So guys, episode number 4 of European Reptile Tour, and I'm in a very big space, big building with some big animals that you'll see. That's why I have my cool little hat. And so today, let's make a tour of Quality Reptiles. So guys, as you enter here, the place, first you have a shop. You have with some stuffed animals, fossils, stones, cool hats, lots of stuff, cork mark, sheds even. Some of the material that you will need, like lamps, UV lamp, DP projector over there. Lots of cool stuff that you will have and that you will need in your enclosure, of course, because otherwise, that's here for that. So lots of stuff and cool big branches too. There, we have substrate also, and then we can go to see the first animals of this building tour. Let's go. So we can have here Renske to help us to make that tour because it's your place, so it's easier.
Yeah, of course.
So here we have, first, what is that big box?
This is my incubator. This is one of the 3 incubators. I have some extra ones for if one breaks down, then I have 2 more to move the eggs if there's a problem. Or maybe if I have a lot of eggs, then I can also use more incubators. So we have some black dragons and some Gila monsters hatching at the moment. Here you can see a baby black dragon. I sometimes keep them a little bit longer in the incubator because you can see here with his paw, you see a small sac that's still attached to his belly. They have a little belly button like humans, and sometimes it stays a little bit longer on their belly, and then it's better to keep them a little bit longer in the incubator. So I'm not gonna open this one right now because he's gonna run. But we can take a look at some baby Gilas. And they are almost all hatching. I'm gonna put it on the table here so you can take a better look. Yeah, so this one completely hatched. This is his egg. It's this one.
And so, small question, because these are true venomous lizards, right?
Yeah.
And they are venomous right from the start, or
yeah,
do they have
exactly.
to...
From day one, they have venom. So if they bite me right now, then it hurts a lot. It's not deadly, but it hurts a lot. I've been bitten one time by an adult one. He bit me in the top of my finger here. It was like bite and let go, so very quick. But still my full hand swole like till here, and I couldn't move my fingers anymore. And it took almost 8 hours till the swelling went down. And it hurt a lot. It wasn't fun, but there's no anti-venom, so you just have to sit it out. And there was no permanent damage. I will put the box on him. He wants to get out. There was no permanent damage, and after a month I could fully use my hand again. But at the start it was really painful, so I couldn't carry heavy things. And veins, they felt like they were burned from the inside. So it's mostly painful. It's dangerous for old people, sick people, and children. But for normal healthy people, they shouldn't die from a bite from a Gila monster.
Okay. So when handling, gloves.
Gloves, yes. Every time. I do get comments sometimes on my Facebook that I make pictures with them on bare hands. But what I always do is I pick them up with a glove, then take my hand without a glove and take them over. So I have them at their neck so they cannot turn, and then I have them in a safe way. And because I do this because it's more safe to handle them this way because you have a better grip. And when I have a glove, then they can move too much and it's more dangerous. So I only use the glove to pick them up. Yeah. And then it's safer without a glove.
Okay, yeah.
So just for explanation.
So you handle them just like here on the pictures, on the banner?
Yeah, exactly. You see them on the banner. Then I have just my hands, but because I have my fingers like this, they have a very short neck, so they cannot turn their head and bite me.
Yeah, okay.
And the one time that I've got bitten, I didn't wear gloves. So it was a good way to learn not to do it like that. And you see, a lot of people, after a time, they get too easy. They think they are too relaxed, too tame, and then they start doing stupid things.
Yeah, same stuff with venomous snakes.
Yeah, exactly. No, I never start on venomous snakes. It's too dangerous for me. I get bitten too often.
And talking venomous snakes, you know, I'm not gonna name anyone, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Some inland type and shit.
Yeah.
So here we also have another part of the shop, I mean?
Yeah, some plants, some simple plants, and some other hides and things, and not special, just simple things, yeah.
And ropes.
Yes.
Also.
Yeah. So,
oh, cool.
Lions. Oh. So.
Cool stuff for a carpet python.
Yeah.
So, after having a peek at the babies, why not seeing adult lizards? So, let's head to the main room. So guys, here we are now in the main room. A big ass room, as you can maybe see. And we're gonna just like walk around and talk a little bit of the animals and the tanks. I mean, these are not tanks anymore.
Yeah, it's almost rooms. Yeah, this is a hall and these are rooms. Yeah.
So yeah, let's begin the tour.
Yeah.
So here we have our first like lizard sylvan dragons.
Yeah, sylvan dragons.
So can you explain us a little bit about how you care for them? What are specific sylvans?
They obviously need a lot of water. They have a big sail fin, or the males have a big sail fin, and they can swim very well. They need a little bit of trees to climb on, and they come from Indonesia, so they need high temperatures, high humidity. We heat the water to 30 degrees, and this way we get a lot of humidity in the air, and it also heats the whole enclosure. I use no heating at all except for the hot spot here on top. I have 3 bulbs. At this moment I see one is broke, but we have 3 hot spots, and also 2 Arcadia UV stripe bulbs, and they are 40%, so they give a lot of UV. There's also a little bit big distance, so yeah, I always measure the UV, so I know for sure that it's not too strong, but also not too low.
Yeah.
So they eat a lot of vegetables, fruits, and sometimes some insects, and also animals like frogs, mice, things like that. So I try to give as much as a variety as possible. I have some like dried leaf bricks, and I give this as a main food, and next to that I give fruits, fresh vegetables, and also sometimes meat, sometimes insects, but mostly fruits and vegetables. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so I've heard a lot about the way, kind of defense mechanism, a fly mechanism they have, like they fall from the trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff.
Yesterday they were the male tried to breed with the female, and the female was completely done with him. She didn't want to, and they were running on the top branch there, and at some point she was like, fuck it, and she just jumped into the water and then run out of the water and hide behind the stones here. So then the male was like, oh, where did she go? And then he just was like, okay, I'm gonna sit under the UV bulb and just sun, and then a little bit later she climbed up again, and after a while he noticed her again, and it started all over. So, but yeah, they do that sometimes, but they are very much used to humans.
Yeah.
They do not like to be touched. They are still from the wild originally, but if I go into the enclosure, we can go into the enclosure, then most of the time they just sit still, as long as you you
They're
are
just
not
here to watch.
Yeah, just watch and do not touch them.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay,
so we
maybe
can go
see.
in. Yeah, we can go in. Take a closer look.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder to understand each other because of the waterfall. But you can see I can come pretty close. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit there, that's more safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have a bowl here. It's stuck here, and then I put another bowl in here, and then I can put the food in here. And, yeah, that's the female, and she doesn't have the sail fin. And if you take a look at the male, you can see that he has a sail fin.
Okay. Yeah. And so there are multiple species.
Yeah, there are multiple species. In the past, this was Hydrosaurus weberi, but they changed it around. They changed the name around with Hydrosaurus abenensis. So now this is Hydrosaurus abenensis, and the other is now Hydrosaurus weberi. Okay. And there's also an interbred species, and it's believed that it's an interbred species between abenensis and weberi, and they are. The abenensis, they also call it the black giant. That's because they are very big and very dark.
That's the one we see on the internet when you go for hydro tours.
Yeah, most of the time it's that, and it's also the one that's most imported from the wild to here. And then you have the interbred species that is a little bit smaller, but bigger than the abenensis.
Yeah. Okay.
And the interbred is a little bit more colorful, but not as colorful as these ones, because this one have more orange and green. They are now a little bit gray, but the female is shedding, and the male he's a little bit stressed at this moment. So yeah. So and there's also another species, Hydrosaurus pustulatus. And they are from the Philippines, so not from Indonesia like the other species. Mm-hmm. They are not allowed to be exported to other countries. All the pustulatus in the hobby, they are bred by zoos or hobbyists.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are more yellow with a bit of purple spines on the neck. Yeah, also very beautiful, and they are a little bit bigger than this one. This is the smallest species.
Oh, yeah, okay. How old are these?
These two are 12 years old, and I had them from a baby.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
So that's pretty much how big you're gonna get them.
Yeah, they are not getting bigger. Yeah. This is the maximum size they get. And,
okay.
Yeah.
I see you have some cool fishes in there.
Yeah. I'm not sure what the English name is, but we call it pauwoogcyclide in Dutch. It's they are cichlids.
Okay,
yeah. And they are very docile. They do not attack the lizards.
Yeah, okay.
So they sometimes, if you put your hand in, they mistake your hand sometimes a little bit for food. So they softly do this, but they are not aggressive at all. And they are just for show. It's not for food or something.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think before we get a little too hot here,
it's really hot. Yeah, let's go out.
So we can maybe talk a little more about the enclosure in itself.
Yeah.
So how did you build it yourself, or?
Let me.
Yes.
Yes. Look. Yeah. We built the enclosures completely ourselves, or most of the enclosures is done by me, but I also had a little bit help with the branches by my brother and my husband. The stones I did myself together with some friends and interns. They helped me build the stones. So I told them you have to do this and that, and then together we did everything.
Oh,
And,
yeah,
yeah. The box for the UV is made by my husband, and yeah, the idea is a little bit of both of us.
Yeah.
So most of what we have here is built by ourselves.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because yeah, it's expensive enough. So hiring people to build it, that would be priceless. This is the only way that I can do this. Because it's extremely expensive.
Big animals needs big cages.
Yeah. This enclosure is 3 meters wide, 3 meters deep, and 3.5 meters high, or 3 meters. Yeah, a little bit more than 3 meters. So it's really big. And originally it was an enclosure for my CROC monitors, but one of my CROC monitors died the start of this year, old age. Yeah. So I had to put him down because he was completely blind. And he had a tumor between his eyes, so I couldn't save him anymore. So it was better for him. So then this enclosure was empty, and I felt really sad. So I was like, okay, I have to put something in it. And I still had the sailfin dragons together with my caiman lizards, and I want to give them a little bit more space. That's why I put them in here, and yeah, they really like it. So that's good. Yeah. So yeah, here is the other CROC monitor female. Yeah. She is already very old. Also, she's like 12 years old or something. So she also has a tumor probably in her eye, so she's starting to get blind. So she's probably not getting much older. It's probably a year or maybe 2 years more. But as long as she's comfortable here, she can stay here. I'm not going to breed her anymore, but I want her to have a happy ending, happy end. Yeah, that sounds
happy lives with a happy ending.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's why she can just stay here till she's done with life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, we can also maybe go in a little bit. She is not aggressive, but don't touch her.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I'll stay my hands in my pocket.
Yeah. So yeah. You can take, keep it open a little bit. So I'm gonna stand here, and you can take a closer look. Yeah. You can see she's curling up her tail. Yeah. That's because she's a little bit scared of the strangers. Yeah. But she's not a lizard that attacks you for no reason. But this is typical signs of her a little bit stressed. So we're gonna go out very soon, but just want to show you. She's putting her chin, a big.
She's puffing.
Yeah, she's puffing a little bit. You see her tongue sticking out for like 0.5 centimeter. So she's a little bit stressed, probably because she doesn't know you. Normally with us, she's more relaxed. So let's not stress her anymore, but I just wanted to show her more close.
Yeah, of course. So
let's go outside.
And so you see also like in her eye, she's like, you see how stuff is, what I see, you don't see that with a snake because they don't have eyelids. With a lizard, I feel like you see them like thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
The brain
especially
working.
these lizards, they are so smart. In my old facility, when I finished the first enclosure, put them in there the first day, and they were looking at me going inside the enclosure, going outside, and they saw me pulling the handle of the door. Yeah. And then later that evening, I was sitting on the corner on the chair watching them, and one was like, "Are they gone?" Yeah. Like this, and then went down the tree to the door, and she climbed up and with one paw tried to open the door. But of course I had a key in there, so she couldn't go out. Yeah. Then climbed a little bit more up, and with her behind leg tried again on the handle. So they just watched one day, and they noticed that was the place where they could go out. Yeah. So really smart animals.
Yeah, really. And because I mean, it's like iconic lizards here in the hobby. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people, myself included, that would want to keep these guys at one point. Yeah. What would you? I mean, for what kind of people are these lizards
I think, yeah, of course, more experienced people, they are very dangerous. They can damage you really badly, especially people that don't want to have to touch them. Some CROC monitors get really tame. My male that died was really tame, but there are also some, and they will never be tame, and they don't want to be tame. So you always have to accept that you maybe have that one that doesn't want to be touched. Also, touching them is a risk. They can bite, and you probably have looked up a school of a CROC monitor online, but they have really long teeth. They are very thin, but they are very long. This is because they in the wild they catch birds, and they have to go with the teeth through the feathers and then have a grip on the animal. And because these teeth are so long, they also make a lot of damage in your muscles and everything. They can rip apart your whole hand, and you have to have surgery multiple times to fix it. So they can damage you really badly, and they can also make you bleed really badly because they also have a sort of venom that makes you bleed faster. I've been bitten once by a CROC monitor because I was very tired and I had to pick them up to save them from a place. I didn't sleep well that night, and I had one holding someone talk to me. So I turned and I put the head too close to my leg. And it bit me in my upper leg and through my pants in my leg, and it started bleeding really badly. So my whole pants was covered in blood. And that's, it's dangerous for bleeding out, but also the bacteria in their mouth, they make it really hard to get clean again. So I had needed like 3 antibiotics to take away the bacteria and make it heal. So it was a really nasty bite. It didn't damage anything except my skin, but it took a long time to heal. So you have to be in a healthy condition if you keep these animals. You have to be a little bit athletic. I'm not super athletic, but you have to be fast and know what you're doing. And you need the space. Of course, you need a little bit of money because they are expensive. The food isn't that expensive, but the enclosure is very expensive. And heating the enclosure to make it perfect, it's really expensive. Sometimes the enclosure is more expensive than the animal itself. So that's
and I mean, for some people, I would have like monitors for a couple of years. I mean, because I've heard on some podcasts and stuff, like people that have mainly worked with or Ackies or even the guy said even like Asian water monitor. That kind of experience is like doesn't even count when it comes to CROCs.
I think if you have experience with water monitors, you know a little bit what to expect, but CROC monitors, it's a whole new level. I don't think there's any animal that can prepare you for this. They are way smarter than a water monitor. They are way faster than a water monitor. The damage is much bigger if they bite you. Even their nails are sharper than a water monitor.
Even if they don't want to make damage, just the stress and the grip and
they already damage you, and they are. There's nothing to compare with a CROC monitor. So it's hard to say when you are ready. Some people are more easily ready for taking care of these animals than other people. It's hard to say.
But that's the type of animal. If you don't have patience, don't keep them. Just don't even think about it.
No, and if you have an expectation of a puppy, don't do it. Because some get really tame, but a lot do not. And it also depends on your energy. If you are relaxed, if you are not stressed, then they feel it. But they also feel it when you are super stressed, and they react on that. Basically with every reptile, it's the same. But with these, it is not. It's even more important.
I'll be honest with you. In the cage, I was not stressed because I mean,
you don't know this animal.
But I don't know, and that's a big lizard. So,
exactly.
And that's, I mean, I'll be honest here. It's the biggest lizard I've ever been like the closest to. So you're really impressed So that gives also a kind of stressed energy too.
Exactly.
We have to say
so probably that's also what she reacted on. My intern, he worked already with her, so he knows how she reacts, and she already knows him. And I've noticed, especially with my lizards, but my monitor lizards, all of them, they are very friendly to the people that they know. Yeah. But when they don't know people, they are always a little bit watching, like, what is he doing here? Yeah. They are very close to the humans that they know.
Yeah. Something that we can totally accept. And when you make a tour at someone's place like here, like I do, it's normal. I mean, don't expect to have a lizard CROC monitor running to you, even though he doesn't know you, and running to you to make a big hug. That's not going to happen.
No, exactly. And so they always react a little bit different to strangers than they react to me. So and it's also, there's not a lot of people every day here. It's me, the interns, and my husband, daughter sometimes, but that's what they see all day, and not strangers. So they are very alert to strangers. So
which that's the best. That's the stuff of the wild you don't know. So
exactly.
To be ready, fight or fly and stuff.
And we do the same. Like you do the same. You don't know her. So you're a little bit stressed. That it's the same for them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Little project here?
Yeah, this is a project that I'm working on. These are water monitor enclosures. There are 5 doors here. So 5 enclosures. And this one is the most finished of them all. I used flagstones on the wall. I made some fake fossils myself. So like this one, and I have painted that one on the wall too. Yeah. And some are real fossils, like this is a real fossil. Yeah. So, and there's a piece of glass on the back. I made this glass with a little bit of epoxy over it, so it looks like a crystal, but it's just glass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then these are some branches that they can climb on. And on top of the branch there are 2 UV bulbs. It's a solar raptor. Yeah, I have a really good experience with these bulbs, and I use Arcadia and solar raptor mostly in most of my enclosures. But my black dragons are used to these, so I keep it like this because they breed very well. They are very friendly and everything. So I think, and healthy, of course, so just keep it with solar raptor for them. And here, this will be a water bowl, so here they can swim. Yeah, it's still working on it, but this will be the water part, and there's a hole there, and that hole there goes to the technical room where the water gets filtered, and here there's a hole in the wall, and when the other water bowl is getting very full, then it will flow over to this bowl. And I have a sort of stairs-like water bowls on a row, so all the enclosures are connected to each other. So all the water goes from the first enclosure to the last enclosure, and in the last enclosure it goes to the technical room where it gets filtered. So, and because all these enclosures will be filled with water monitors, it's also not a risk because they can have the same bacteria, the same, they are connected anyway, so it's not a health risk in this case.
Okay.
And this part here on the floor will be the part where I put a place for them to lay eggs, so it will be filled with sand. And the back wall, there will be a floor heating that will heat the whole sand. When the female is gonna dig in the bowl, in the sand, then she can feel what is really hot and what is really cold. And then she will choose the right temperature to lay her eggs. So if she's going closer to the wall, then it's getting more warm. And when she is farther away from the wall, then it gets more cold. And this way she can always have the perfect temperature for her eggs.
So here I'm just staying where eggs will gonna be laid. Where you're staying actually, guys.
Yeah. So it will be all filled with sand. And I use sand and not soil because the water monitors will walk over the sand a lot and then go in the water bowl. And after a while, it gets really dirty if you have soil. But with sand, it just goes into the filter, it doesn't damage the filter system. And also, if you go to Indonesia, they have a lot of sand there.
Yeah.
It's not dangerous, and still you can have really high humidity with sand as long as you have a very big water part.
Yeah.
And the water will also be heated like with the CROC monitors. You have a high humidity anyway.
Yeah.
And high temperatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can cut, here is
it's a hole, and then they can walk from one enclosure to the other. So every water monitor will have their own enclosure, but when the female has fertile eggs inside, then she doesn't want to have a male with her anymore. At that point, I will split them up. So I let one animal to the one enclosure and the other to the other enclosure, and then I shut the door so they cannot go to each other. Because the male can stress the female a lot. When she's laying eggs, he wants to eat it, so she doesn't want to lay eggs, and then she can get egg bound. So it's very important that you can always split up monitor lizards. It's almost with every monitor lizard, keeping pairs together can stress them out a lot if you do it all the time.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
So just question for the branches. I mean, how did the magic happen about keeping these? These are in concrete or so?
Yeah, the walls are made of stones, like you can see them here still, these stones. And they are in a corner made to the wall before I made the stones around them. So there's a metal holder for the trees. Okay. So I put screws in the tree and also in the wall. So they are already very good fixed against the wall. And then I put the stones around it so you don't see the metal holders. I use some mortar to fill up the gaps between the stones. So it's held by nails and metal holders, but also with the mortar and the stones.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's double strong. I can sit on there without it breaking down. So and I'm heavy. So more heavy than a monitor lizard. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So here is the cage that I filmed via the hole.
Yeah.
Through the hole.
Yeah.
I mean,
so this is a second enclosure, and there are more. This one is already also very far along.
Oh yeah.
I can put a light on here too.
Oh yeah.
So
okay.
still working on it. A little bit of mess on the ground, but we are still working on it. So
I mean, now we can see like from not scratch, but from like 75% done.
Yeah. So
to up to there, the final
is even worse. I don't have lights here, or maybe I have. Wait, I think I have lights. This is more messy, but yeah, this is less far along. Yeah. Like you can see. So yeah. So these are the water monitor future enclosures. On this side, so let's turn around. Yes. Here we have the water monitors that will go in there. Let's see. Of course, they are hiding right now.
So guys, I'm just gonna stay a little off, so I don't have my energy, my energy.
Yeah,
you know,
that's better. Maybe you can film him. They are trying to breathe in the water. See, they are mating together, or trying to mate. Yeah. No. Sex is more important. So they don't want to be disturbed.
Here we have our big buddy.
Yeah, that's my dog. He's a little bit funny looking because he has a dwarfism.
Oh, okay.
So he has short paws.
Yeah.
So and he's an American bully. He should be an XL. Yeah. But his paws didn't grow, only his head.
Yeah.
Take a look here at the baby water monitors.
Oh.
Have to be a little bit relaxed. You always see that they are a little bit stressed, more stressed on days that there are people with cameras.
Yes. I mean, I can understand them.
Yeah, somehow they just know that there's something important happening. But he's already getting more relaxed. See?
Even at this size, guys, that's just like they're really impressive.
How old do you think this is?
I mean, a year or two?
No, this is 4 months old.
Jeez. Jesus. And you're gonna see smaller ones later, but they grow really fast.
They grow really fast. I had sold one male who was 8 months old, and he was already over 1 meter long and like 2 kilos. Very heavy already.
Jesus.
So yeah. So I'm gonna put this one back. He's getting more relaxed, but also you see he's a little bit like.
Yeah, he's puffing a little.
Yeah, normally they are more flicking their tongue, then they are super relaxed, but he's a little bit stressed now, so yeah. But not as stressed as some minutes ago.
And so, black dragons, that's something really rare. I don't see a lot here in Europe.
I think I'm the only breeder at the moment that breeds them, regularly. Yes.
That's like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the only, like I've said, like in water monitor, this is the second, like morph, because it's a morph, right?
Yeah, it's a color morph.
It's like my second favorite morph. I mean, the only one is the ice dragon.
Yeah.
But I've never seen one. I know one person that has them, but in the US.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's a morph, by the way, but it's also a natural morph. So in the wild, there are groups of black dragons. So if you are in an area where they live, there are all black. So it's also a locality, but it's still a morph because you need a mother and a father that both carry black dragon or a melanistic. It's a melanistic genetic, so you always need 2 parents with the same genetic. So it's a morph, but it also occurs naturally in the wild. So, and it's also a morph that is really strong, so that's why they survive in the wild. Like you will not find albinos in big groups in the wild because they have less chance to survive.
I mean, a white snake in a green forest is something you can spot directly, where a black one is something you don't even see.
It's even better for them because they are more warm fast, or they are faster warm because black attracts a lot of heat. So they are, in the morning, they are faster than others because they already are warmed up. So it's more an advantage than it's bad for them.
Yeah.
So that's why black dragons survive in the wild. Here I have a baby Gila monster.
A little star.
Yeah. I now still have him on puppy pads because it's more clean, and I can clean the puppy pads every day. And when it still has a belly button on it, its belly. So this way I can clean it more often. And when the belly button is gone, and also with his brothers and sisters, then I will put sand in it, so it can dig more. Here is an adult Gila monster.
Yeah.
And I have more adults. I have 4 pairs at the moment, and I have babies every year now.
Okay, yeah. So here's another one hiding. I mean, you see the tail at least.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, they are not very active at daytime, so they're gonna move more at the evening.
Yeah. A part of the venom part.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say they would make great pets for people, or?
It's more a lizard to look at.
Yeah.
It's not like a bearded dragon. They can get very tame, but that's also the risk of keeping them. People are expecting them to be very tame, and there can always happen something, and then they bite you. So I personally would not recommend them to have them as a pet. Yeah. It's nice to watch them, touch them as little as possible, look at them, appreciate them for being beautiful.
Yeah, that's
And you can see how they interact. That's very interesting, but touch them as less as possible. At least that is how I think about it. They are not animals to be on your lap watching movies or something.
Of course.
It's But everyone has his own opinion about it, of course, but that's how I think about it. It's a animal to look at.
Yeah. And I mean, still, we have to take, I mean, I said a part of being venomous, but it's still venomous, so.
Yeah, it's still, and you can also get allergic to their venom. Yeah. For everyone, it's different how they react on the venom. am probably also allergic to the venom because I also had swelling under my eyes when I got bitten. That's a sign that you are allergic to. So every time that I get bitten now, it gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And so now there was the swelling under my eyes and my arm, but next time it could be my throat. Yeah. That's dangerous. It's not super dangerous, but it still can kill you if you are unlucky.
Okay.
So always be careful and don't let you get bitten a lot of times because it gets more dangerous every time. And it also depends on how long they chew on you. Like I've got bitten like just a nip, but if they hold on, they normally bite you and then they start chewing and they chew the venom into your bloodstream. And the longer they chew, the worse it gets. So if they chew really long, then maybe the swelling gets worse, maybe more. And if it is in your left arm and it goes in here, it can also stop your heart. So, always be careful.
Yeah, that's the stuff. That's really like, that's still really interesting. And again, just to put like, again, to tap on that part, to saying like, hey, there's still, because we see a lot, it's the same thing every time. I ask those questions. Personally, I know the answer. Yeah, but I know that people see a guy like hugging a Gila monster just for fun, and they say, "Hey, that's what I want," and
that's
maybe
not a good
it happen
plan.
in 1 in 100, but not gonna happen most of the time.
Exactly, and they are not very aggressive. If I pick one up, they are fine with it most of the time. But that's also the risk that it gives you. It's not doing anything. I don't have a glove here, so just grab it like this, and then that's when the accidents happen.
So always keep in mind, guys, when you keep like whether it's venomous snakes, whether it's venomous lizard, whether it's big lizard, there's always that risk. It's you can have an individual that will be fun, like what we call puppy dog tamed. But most of them won't be that way. Yeah, they can be maybe as close as possible, but they will never be like puppy dog tamed.
No.
It's just the stuff.
I can maybe get my glove and take one out to show you. They are super relaxed, so I can take one out and show you.
We can do this.
Give me one moment. Stay here. I get a glove.
So guys, security first, of course, as we said.
Yeah. So I have a glove. Still, it's not 100% proof because if they bite, there's a possibility that still something goes through. So when I get bitten, I take off the glove as fast as possible. Oh, let's put this a little bit aside. So now I have him like this, and I'm gonna put my other hand around here, and this way I have a better grip because the glove is little bit, you know that when they get really angry, they're gonna like hiss and put their mouth open, and then you can smell the venom. Oh. It smells like very bitter, very, And here on the underside like this is the venom glands.
Okay. For a long time, that was my favorite lizard. For a very long time. I mean, even at school, we had to present animals and stuff. That's the one I presented, so. Yeah,
they are really cool, like how it works and everything is really cool. And their skin is also very tough. It's really interesting animals. And it's also a little bit the risk of people finding it really cool and just want to have it because it's really cool, because it's venomous. But if you look at it, they are not very active. So most of the day they're just sleeping. Yeah. And later at evening, they start walking around. So then it gets more interesting. But if you work all day and you come home, then it's very interesting to watch them. But if you are home all day, then they're just laying there and doing nothing. So I'm gonna put this one back. So I put my other glove on again. So take it over like this. But like you can see, I do not have a lot of grip with the glove. So that's why I do this. And then I put it like this. And then I'm safe. I have a lot of questions sometimes when I post something on Facebook, then you see that it's without a glove and people are angry about it, especially now with all the venom things happening. But I also explain that I do it this way because I think it's more safe. So I hope now people understand why do it this way. Let's go to the other side.
And
she's now
she's
on top.
Up. Yeah. I hope you see something, guys. I mean, I'm just gonna try it with my phone to get a video for you. I mean, and that's when you see them like that, that you understand like the name of tree dragon.
Yeah, they can climb really well. They can also run really fast into the tree or on the ground everywhere. They are super fast. They are more fast than any monitor. They are like you blink with your eyes and they are up front of you. So yeah, they can climb and run really well. So let's go to the medical room.
Some type of room that you don't see a lot.
Officially, it's a must if you are a business in the Netherlands. We now have a course that you have to follow to make sure that you know enough about reptiles. And also a room is necessary with quarantine places to put animals that you get in new or animals that are sick. You have to put them in the medical room and separate them from the healthy ones. So that's what I'm doing, and it's a really good thing to do. So I'm I'm totally for it. I
mean, quarantine room, I mean, we see that a lot. But like that type of room like this, not that much.
No, and even it's a necessary in the Netherlands, but still a lot of companies don't have it. People that have shops often don't have a quarantine room. Wow, it's really necessary. If they come and check it, they normally should say something about it if you don't have it. So yeah, I have here some stuff that I can check if animals have parasites. So then if I find some poop from the TEGUS or something, then I can put it on the microscope and then I can see if they have worms or parasites or anything. Normally I did a checkup when I thought that there was something wrong. Now I do it every some weeks or so. When I find some poop, I just put it on the microscope just to be sure. So, and I noticed that some animals that look really healthy often have very bad amount of parasites that I really didn't notice. So I'm really happy that I can now do it myself. And it's not even that expensive. This one I paid like 200 euros or something for it. So it's not a very expensive machine, but I can still check on their health regularly. So that's really nice. So yeah, and here I have an ultrasound. And with this machine, I can check if the animals still have eggs in their belly, because the monitors sometimes lay like 8 eggs, and then there's still 1 egg in the belly. And sometimes I have to give oxytocin or calcium, magnesium injections to help them get the last egg out. And in some cases, I have to bring them to a vet to take the egg away with surgery. But most of the times I can be in time and fix it by just injections, and then they are fine. And you always have to keep an eye on them afterwards if they do not get infections in the ovaries and everything, because it had some trouble and it sometimes can cause problems with infections. So that's still something that I have to look at. But with this machine, I already saved some animals, so I'm really happy to have this. And it's a second-hand one that was used to make fun egg ultrasounds, so for humans. But for humans, it was too old of a machine. But for me, it's fine. Because now they have 3D images and stuff, so that's better for the fun ultrasounds. But for me, this is good enough because I only want to see if there are eggs. So yeah, so this is a second-hand one, but it's completely working well. And here I have one animal in quarantine. It's an albino hybrid tegu. Really very beautiful animal. So I just have him for some weeks. So that's why he's now in quarantine, to make sure that he is not sick. And I checked for parasites, and I do it in some weeks again, check again. And then when he's fully clean of parasites and he doesn't show any illness or anything, then he can go to the bigger enclosures with the other tegus.
Yes.
But for now, I have him here in quarantine, so the enclosure is a little bit small.
Yeah.
But it's just temporary to make sure that he's healthy.
Yes.
Also, it's more easy to keep this climate very warm in a smaller enclosure.
Yeah. A very big window.
Yeah, and it's also I do doors that open like this because it's more easy to always clean the windows.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I have to take out the glass, and some animals are aggressive. So when you are like cleaning it like this, then they attack your hand. And with this way, for my interns that working with me also, it's more easy to clean all the windows without being at risk of being attacked by an animal. Because especially with tegus in breeding season, they are super aggressive to everything that moves. So you have to be more careful.
Okay.
So that's why I have these windows everywhere.
Okay.
So I made some stairs here because later on I want to make a venom room upstairs where I can keep the Gila monsters and beaded lizards. This is to make it more safe. When a Gila monster escapes or a beaded lizard escapes, then they will still be in the venom room. Also, my daughter loves the reptiles a lot and she wants to touch everything, and I'm so afraid that she will maybe open a Gila monster enclosure and get bitten. So I was like, okay, I need a venom room. So now, step by step, when I have a little bit money, then I do a little bit more, and then till it's finished. So yeah, to make it better and safer. And
Are there black dragons there?
yeah, more black dragons. Those are, here, before I open the door, you can see one there. They are still very shy.
Yeah.
They are like 1 day old or 3 days old. Some they are just born, so very young. There are three animals inside. I will take a look if I can get one.
And so there is like 2 to 4 months difference between these ones and the others?
Yeah, that's how fast they grow.
Yeah.
People don't understand how fast they grow, but with 1.5 years, you already have an animal that can breed, that can produce eggs, or if it's a male, that can breed with the female. So they are growing so fast. So if you have this little baby, you have to be really quick in building a bigger enclosure. And you can see it's already closing, but this is the belly button. Probably this is one of the older babies from like 3-4 days old. But sometimes they're still sticking out a little cord from food sack that they were eating from. But this one is almost finished, almost done. So yeah, I'm gonna put him back. He's a little bit stressed. He still has to get used to people.
And so talking about getting used to people, I mean, it's maybe a good moment to talk about how you work with them to get them used, actually.
Yeah, I try to interact very slowly with them every day and them sniff on my hands, a lick on my hands. So I always try to get from under them, because if you go over them, they feel like they are not safe. And as long as they are higher than you, or you go lower like this, then they feel like they have a chance. So always when I offer them my hand, I try to do it under their head. So they can smell, make yourself less dangerous. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. But what I notice is that they also get used to me. Or to my intern. And at the moment when you bring it to a new person, it can act totally different. So you always need to re-socialize at the moment that you buy an animal. With me, they can be very relaxed. But at the moment that the new owner is having them, then they can react totally different. So sometimes I see people saying, I sell a monitor completely tame. And I'm always like, yeah, it's tame with you. but it is possible that when it goes to a new owner that it's totally different. And I've also noticed that it also depends on the enclosure. I had animals that were a little bit aggressive in one enclosure, and when I put it in another enclosure, it was totally tame and friendly. So there's something about the surroundings, something about your own personality and how you act, and also a little bit of working yourself with the animal. So I can make them completely tame, but in the end, you have to start over. So it's you have to do mostly yourself.
Yeah. When you have like a new monitor, for example, at home, do you work with it from day one, or do you wait a little? Because for snakes, you wait some
Normally, I recommend to wait like at least a week or maybe longer to let them get used to the new enclosure, because they have always been here with me with the same enclosure. So it's all new and stressful. They moved, so that's stressful, and also the new enclosure. So first, it's better for them to know, okay, I can go to this place or that place and go up or down or dig under the soil or something. Then they know where to go. And when you then start interacting with them, they feel like the enclosure is their safe place. So I think that's really important. And of course, every animal is different. Sometimes some animals are like at day one, they start eating and they come to the door and want to climb on you. Sometimes you're lucky with that, and so you always have to feel it a little bit. If this animal is a little bit unsure, or that he straight away comes to you, then yeah, it's fine. Then you can just interact. But if they don't, then give them the time to get used to the new surroundings.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's always what I recommend.
Oh, yeah, so that's a little bit like snakes.
Exactly.
I mean, it's always better even to give them a little more time than they should have. I mean, should understand that.
But sometimes animals, they show you straight away that they are already fine. If they do, then it's fine. Yeah. But always give them the chance to get used to their new surroundings. Yeah. So here we have another CROC monitor enclosure with this male. This is the male CROC monitor, and here on the other side we have the female. You can see her here, up here, and like you can see, I have a door in between the enclosures. Here you see the green roll-up door. It's an electric door, so I can, from outside, I can open this door, and then they can go together. But I can also close the door when I want to separate them. Yes. And you can maybe film it here. On the underside, I have a plastic board where they can look through. But also I have some holes in the board that they can put their tongue through, so they can smell each other. This way they can already get used to each other and the smells, and then it's more easy to introduce them to each other. Because with CROC monitors, they are of course extremely fast, what I already told you, but they also rip each other apart very fast, very easy. So if they do not like each other, or it's just not the right day, then that you have a lot of blood and stuff. So normally when I think like, okay, this is the day, I put them together, then I have a whole team of people here and we're watching them all day. And as soon as they come close to each other, we stand around and see how they respond to each other. And if it's really stressful, then we are very close to the door, and at the moment that they start fighting, then we go in and we take them apart from each other. So then we have a catching pole with a lasso so that we can put around the neck, or we have a grab stick to grab the paw. They have very strong paws, so you do not damage them, and then we can put them to their own part and close the door. So, and in this way, for us, it's less risky because we do not go with our hands in between, because you're never fast enough, really never fast enough. You cannot be in time to grab their neck or something, and if you grab one, then you still have the other. So this is why we just, for safety, we use grab sticks and poles to separate them, and then the door goes down again, and then they separate, and then maybe some days or some weeks later we try again till it works. And we had tried already some times, and one time it went really well, so they started breeding and everything, and then I saw that the male was all the time on the ground and the female always up, so then and they stopped breeding, so then I split them again. There were no eggs, sadly, that time, so then I tried later again, and then they started fighting. So, and I tried it another time again, and also again they started fighting. So it's really to put them together for breeding. I think that's also the biggest problem with breeding these animals, is it has to be the right time, and also the pair has to be compatible. So
I remember seeing like Tom Crutchfield. He talked about like when he separated his. Like
he did with his Baron.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I would not expect it and they started fighting after I already had them together for a long time and it was all good, then I probably would do the same. Because you don't, they are your babies and you don't want them to fight, but at a moment like that and you have no grab stick or anything, I think I also would put my hands.
You just do it in the moment.
That's something, if you already keep reptiles a really long time, then it's an automatic thing that you do, like grab them in the neck, like stop fighting. But it's a risk. So that's why I always, when I try to put them together, I try to do it with more people to make it safe for everyone.
Of course.
But after a day of that and they are fine together, then of course I do not have all the people around all the time, because you cannot be around all the time. And I still cameras in the enclosures, in the corners, so in the upper corner here, and they can look over the whole enclosure from both sides. So when I'm at home at night and I want to go to sleep, then I first look at my phone, like, oh, they are doing fine, and then go to sleep. So, but it's more risky than other monitors. Like my water monitors, I just put them together, and then when they fight, I just grab them. And but they are way slower, and they were less strong. Even the big male that I have, I can handle him on my own. But with the CROC monitors, you always need someone else to help you. They are so much stronger than water monitors. Especially the males, they are very strong.
And even just watching it, I mean, just looking at them, you know, like, you see that's how I see it. That's the energy of the animal. You understand that it's a strong animal. Yeah,
and they are so smart, because when you go in an enclosure from a water monitor and he's aggressive, then if you have a broom, then most water monitors will bite a broom. But if you go with a broom into a CROC monitor enclosure, he runs around the broom and grabs you in your leg or climbs up and tries to bite you in your face or something. They are way smarter. They know the broom is an object and they know that you are the one they can damage. They are way smarter than any other monitor lizard. That makes them also a little bit scary.
Scary for most, and like, for example, just even impressed, just as the lowest level, just being impressed by these animals.
Yeah, and I think you need a little bit of the respect that you know how much damage they can do, and you don't have to be afraid, because when I go in the enclosures of my animals, I'm not like my heart doesn't race or something, but I always keep in mind the damage that they can do. Even though they are relaxed at the moment and everything, you always keep in mind.
Yeah, that's what I said in a video about should you afraid of being bitten. That was for snakes.
Then you don't start.
The stuff is of course, like if you have like a 6 meter retec, of course if it bites you, it's gonna like rip you off. But if you think about it and you go into that enclosure,
they feel it. They smell your.
They know it.
Yeah.
So if you go there, as you say, you know they can do that damage, but you're not you're not really thinking about it
No,
on a certain way.
but you still have to.
Yeah.
You still have to be aware that it's
That's the stuff.
possible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
So
And with claws, a tail like that, and big teeth, it's even worse than just big teeth.
that's also. I talked a lot about the teeth, of course, but their nails, they are very, very sharp, and they can rip open your skin also with the nails. They are very flexible. So at the moment when you grab one at its neck, then it turns around its body and it grabs you on your arm. So, and then try to get it loose, it's almost impossible. So you always have to be aware of the mouth, but also the claws and the tail. They can wipe their tail to your face like, oh, I had one time like this on my face, the tail. I was just cleaning the enclosure and I was like doing this a little bit too hard, and the female was like, pam, with the tail. So I had like a red band on my head. It hurt like hell. So also the tail can be very, very strong. Yeah.
I mean, just without the, I mean, you understand that because like when you see them falling from trees in the wild, and they just grab a branch with a tail, you understand like that tail can support the whole body. So imagine.
and it's the same with water monitors. So if you get a tail against your face, it hurts like hell. And the same, all the tails of all the big monitors are really strong. So I think that's all a little bit the same, but the nails from these monitors are way sharper than any monitor. Then that's because they also climb, of course. Yeah. And they are big. It's a big tree monitor.
Yeah. That's the guy said in this podcast. It was like, if you have like the idea of the smaller tree monitors, it's a better type of experience than the other monitors because it's not the same, but the same 10, 15 times bigger.
They have the same body type, like they have the same nails, they have the same fingers, they have the same tail, everything is the same, the whole shape of the animal is the same. And they also have the same living conditions. They need to climb. That's why they have the round tail, so not a flat tail to swim. They can hold on trees with the tail. They can have a good grip with their nails on the trees. So they are very similar to each other.
Giant size.
But very big, Oh, and one more interesting thing. If you have a water monitor the same size as a CROC monitor in body size, then a water monitor will always weigh much more. They are very light built because they have to climb, and so they are built to be very light. So that's also something very interesting. Like a water monitor has to swim, so it's a little bit lighter than like a Komodo dragon, and a Komodo dragon is more like walking. So those animals are very heavy. But if you compare them in the same size, then a Komodo dragon is always heavier than a water monitor, and a water monitor is always heavier than a CROC monitor. Because of the way they live.
Yes, and that's something like
That's I find it very interesting. So of course the TEGUS. This is where my biggest passion and hobby started with TEGUS, and I could never let it go. So from one TEGU came more TEGUS, and I've had in the past like more than 50 TEGUS. Now I have a little bit less, I think around 40. I didn't count them, but I sold some TEGUS in the past years to focus more on other bloodlines and also other type of reptiles. And I also want to expand in the future with other animals like more monitors, because monitor lizards are still very interesting because of the intelligence and stuff. I really like that in lizards. TEGUS are still very intelligent, but they are also a little bit clumsy and first act then think. So if they think you have food, then they first attack you, and then afterwards it's like, oh, you do not have food, oh, let's have a cuddle. So they are in that way they are a little bit stupid, but still they can learn a lot. If they found out how to open a door, then next time they do it again. But like with the CROC monitors, they see you do it and then they do it. A tegu really has to try, and then when he knows how to do it, he keeps doing it. So it's a different way of smart. But yeah, it's still very interesting.
Makes me think like you have in snake talk, you have a retech and you have a corn snake, more like in the way of
probably,
thinking.
yeah, I'm not into snakes, but maybe that's
the act first and think
later.
After.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
more like
and they still have their smart moments, but they are really like, oh, let's attack, and then like, oh, wait, this is no food.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
So I have some blue tegus. These are some original blue tegu, except for exactly this one. The one that's under the UV light is one that I imported from the USA. So this is a blue tegu that is from a bloodline from 2001. Then there were some blue tegus imported to the US, and all the blue tegus in the US come from one bloodline. Later on in 2011, there were also blue tegus imported to Europe, around 60 tegus, I think 50 or 60 tegus. And this male that you see here up front is one of the original imports from them. And they were imported from Brazil. And what I've found out with some friends of mine is that they came from an island, and this island in Brazil, next to Brazil, there was a problem with rats. So they thought, let's put some blue tegus or just tegus. They didn't know what tegus they put on the island, but put those tegus on the island, and they will destroy all the rats and the mice, and then we are done with this problem. But they had a new problem. The tegus became the new problem. So now this whole island is full of tegus. So they took some tegus in 2011 from that island, and they brought these tegus to Europe. And yeah, I have 3 males that are still from the import, and I have some females that the mothers were also wild cards from the island. So sadly, I lost a lot of my females some years ago because of food poisoning. I changed from one brand of food to another, and then some died from food poisoning. So I only have the males still from that import. That all the females sadly died, but I still have some children from those females. So this is another blue tegu, also one of the original imports. And here I have a black and white black-nosed tegu. Those black-nosed tegus come from Uruguay. So they are a locality of black and white tegus. And they have a black nose. This one has eaten some days ago, and still there's some food on its nose, I think. But this is a black nose tegu. So I really like all the localities and stuff. Most people are like, it's just a tegu, but for me it's very I get really excited from things like that.
I mean, we need a bit of everything for everyone. So
Here's another blue tegu, another black and white tegu. Here also a black nose.
Yes.
And here is some red tegus. This is a purple devil line. It's now shedding a little bit, so it's a little bit lighter, but normally it's like a purple blue of a red. So a very dark red color. And another black nose tegu.
Now, something that people would seeing this might ask is, why are they yellow?
Because these they are now going into hibernation, and then they start getting a yellow shed. It's more thicker than normal because they eat less. It gets colder here, and so the skin gets very thick. So it's very, very yellow at the moment. And after hibernation, they will probably shed, and then they are completely black and white again. So not the yellow color anymore. Okay. So you are actually in the wrong part of the year here, because all the tegus are very yellowish, and normally they have more nice colors. But yeah, it's almost time to go in hibernation. So they are very yellow. Here is also an albino tegu, albino red tegu. I imported her from the USA. She's now also a little bit, not a nice skin, very yellow, but when she sheds, she's very nice, almost glowing. It's a really nice orange color. Very beautiful animal if she sheds. But now she, like I said, it's not the most beautiful color.
I'll have to come back in summer also.
Yeah, exactly. And in the back, I have Enery hypo male. This is Enery and hypo. So the Enery is taking away the red pigment. Hypo is taking away the biggest part of the black pigment. So it's lighter. And the combination of that makes it almost albino, because he is very light colored. Now he's a little bit yellow because he's shedding, but when he sheds, he's almost white. And that's because of the hypo that's in combination with the Enery. And my idea is to breed the albino female with the Enery hypo male to get triple heads animals, and then babies from them put together. We'll get albinos, Enerys, hypos, but also combinations of 2 or 3 of
snows.
Probably snow. But that's my goal. But the combination albino with Enery, it has been done already, but I didn't see anyone doing the hypo genetics also together with the albino and the Enery. So that's something new. I have some more red tegus.
Question about, because you talked that we're going to brumation, is like what do you do for brumation for tegus?
I start by stopping with giving food, so they get no food at all anymore. Now they are still at 1 time a week, and we gave not this Monday, but the Monday before, we gave them food, and then now we're gonna quit at all with food. And then every week I will put less light hours in the enclosure. So I take like 2 hours from their total light hours, and then every week a little less till after 4 weeks, then all the lights go off. Then I still keep them for 1 week or something like that in their enclosures here, and then I'm gonna put them in boxes with straw and move the boxes to a special climate controlled room. And this room also I will go lower and lower with the temperature till it's around 18, 19 degrees. And then they will stay there till March. And then in March I will wake them up again. And I check them every now and then. So then 1 week I check like 4 animals, and then the next week I check another 4 animals, and then I go around every time to make sure that everything goes well. But I don't want to disturb them all the time. So that's why I do every time another animal. And then this way there's less stress, but I still feel that I have control of the situation. And if I hear like that they have problems breathing, then I take them out of the box into the enclosure again, and then I warm them up very slowly and wake them up, just to make sure that they don't die in hibernation. I have lost tegus in the past, but this was normally when something went wrong with the temperature in the incubator or in the climate controlled room, or there was another health problem. But I almost never lose animals in hibernation. But it's still always a little bit a stressful time in the year. It's always very sad to lose an animal, even if you have so many. Most of my tegus have names, and they are really also a pet for me. It's not only business.
We have a funny one there.
Yeah, she's like, please keep filming me. I'm a star.
Yeah, we have another one there, another funny one there.
Yeah, it's the end of the day, and they always get a little bit more active, and also they always notice when strangers are here. When I have an open house day here and there are a lot of people, then somehow all the tegus are like on the windows, like, hello, hello, I'm here.
A bit clumsy, but yeah, they like attention.
Yeah, they like attention, and they always like, is this food?
Yeah.
Can I eat it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I also have a lot of old tegus. This one is 19 years old. I have also one that's also around 19 years old, almost 20 years old. I think he's here. Yeah, he's sleeping in the back, but you can see him there. That's Devil. That's, yeah, he's sleeping. And you probably noticed that all my enclosures are very deep.
Yes.
And the reason that I do this is, of course, it's more easy to fit a lot of enclosures in one room. That's one of the reasons, but also because they feel really safe in the back. When they start laying eggs, I always put a lot of straw in the enclosure on top of the soil. And then they bring all the straw to the back and they make a built nest. And in this nest, they can lay their eggs. But they always do it in the back because that's a quiet place and they feel safe there. So it has a lot of good things about being so deep.
Yeah, and as you said, lots of tanks.
Yeah, a lot of tegus, a lot of enclosures. Yeah, so it's a little bit of an addiction, I think. Once you have one tegu, you want all the color morphs. And I also worked on some bloodlines, some special looks. So I have like Devil line, I have Pearl line, and the Pearl line is very high white, so they have a lot of white. I also have the Devil line with the purple, so they are very dark purple colors. But to keep the line healthy, you need a lot of animals to keep breeding. So I have a lot of purple Devil line females and males, and I also have a lot of Pearl line females and males. So to keep breeding in the future also. So yeah, that takes also a lot of space. And of course I also have the albinos, the aneries, the hypos. And so yeah, you need a lot of animals to have different bloodlines and different color morphs. So it's a little bit like once you have the one, then you also want the other and so on. So then you get this. A lot of enclosures, and I have to say the tegus are the most work of all the animals. Like the monitor lizards is like maybe 1 hour, 2 hours a week work, like, and this is 2-3 hours a day work. So it's very intense.
Yeah, and since you have a lot of tegus, when it comes like for someone that will just keep one, what type of enclosure would you recommend for them?
They need at least 2 square meters of floor space, and my enclosures are a little bit more than 2 meters deep and 120 wide. You at least need that amount of space. You can make an enclosure like I have with the smaller side a window, but you can also do over the whole length of the enclosure. So that doesn't make that much of a difference. The only thing is with breeding females is that they really like the back for hiding, and you also see on the end of the day all the animals go to the back, stay in the dark. So the space is important, but also you have to keep it really warm. They get a lot of problems with shedding and eating at the moment when they have too cold environment. And some people think, okay, but my temperatures are good, but then at night all the lights go off and then it gets really cold in the night. And then in the morning they have not enough time to warm up. And then you will see that at daytime they also stop eating. So, and also get skin problems, especially the red tegus are very sensitive for skin problems, and most of the time it has to do with temperature. Sometimes it has to do with food, like too much fish or not enough vitamin B in the food or something. Then they also get skin problems. So that's something you should think about, the temperature, the space, and also they do not like it if you hang over them. So always an enclosure that opens from the side. But that's something that for almost every reptile, that's the nicest way to be picked up out of an enclosure. And something what you should think about is a lot of tegus are very food responsive in the enclosure. So when you take a tegu out of the enclosure, always do it safe, like grab them by the neck and then pull them up. And then when they are out, then you can just let them go, and then they will probably not bite you if they are friendly. But even a friendly tegu can attack you when you go in an enclosure and they think you are food. So that's something to think about, that and tegu isn't aggressive if it attacks you in the enclosure. It's because when they are out, they often are all super relaxed.
And what is, like you said, like people too cold during the night? What is too cold actually?
Under 23 degrees is already too cold. Tegus really do not like it, and when they already go in some hibernation-like state. But when they warm up at daytime every time, then their skin goes like hibernation, not hibernation, hibernation, not hibernation. And then you get the skin problems. And the same with eating, they are like, oh, I cannot eat because then I die if I eat in hibernation. So they quit eating because they are not warm enough. So, yeah.
Okay, I get it,
So that's a mistake that happens a lot with tegus. And then they say, my tegu is in hibernation, but they are not in hibernation or brumation or whatever you want to call it. They cannot eat because it's too cold. So,
That's okay. That's an interesting part to know.
I
mean, I don't know if a lot of you keep tegus, and we have still a funny one there, still the same.
She wants to steal the show.
But now if you want one, you can have an ID. Of course, like it's always the same. Do a whole bunch of research, just not from one video. Keep an animal, but you get quite of the what the heck is happening there.
Yeah, she tries to climb in the lamp. A lot of tegus do this to get attention. It's most on the end of the day, what I already said, and when other people are around, then they start climbing in the lamps and scratching the windows. It's normally they don't do this, right? No, it's because you are new here. So
you have rattlesnakes that are rattling when a stranger comes, and then you have tegus just attention seeking.
Yeah, exactly. Tegus are a little bit like they want to catch the show every time. What you also see with a lot of problems with tegus is, especially in Europe, we still have a lot of wild caughts. So animals, I cannot say wild caught, it's more farm bred / wild caught. They come from Argentina. They are imported mostly to Germany or Spain. And then from there, they go to all the shops. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people that sell those tegus say, oh, it's captive bred, or it's captive bred Argentina. But it's completely different. Those animals often had not the best conditions before they came here. And also when they come here, they are without water for a very long time. So they often have kidney problems. They often have parasites. They had a lot of stress. So those animals are really hard to start with. Personally, I don't think those animals are good for beginners, but they are sold to a lot of beginners. Sometimes you need new bloodlines for breeding. So it's nice to have bloodlines like some of my Uruguay black-nosed tegus, they are from farms like that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have those lines. So I'm not completely against imports, but I noticed that a lot of those import animals, and they come with like hundreds at a time, they are doomed to die because people buy them, they don't know that they are wild and that they need to be checked for parasites and stuff, and they often die a horrible death. So yeah, I'm really against this, and probably some people will be very angry for me saying this because some people import them. But yeah, it's something that I'm not a fan of. And personally, that's why I also started breeding tegus, because I was like, it's crazy that they are still imported from farms and the wild so in such a big amounts, while they have little chance for surviving a whole life. Like tegu, I have tegus that reached an age of 27, 28 years old, but animals that are imported from the wild have very little chance to reach those age. I had also one wild caught animal, and she died at the age of 13 because her kidneys were failing. And this is a problem that you see a lot. And 13 is still a long time, but they can get much older than that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always recommend also to find out where is the tegu from that you're buying. Is it from a breeder? Is it import from the USA? Then it's probably captive bred too. But is it import from Argentina? Then you're pretty sure that it is farm bred wild caught.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and being like imported, like they're also cheaper than captive bred.
Yeah, of course.
It's always a story of the little lizard that is cheap.
I have sometimes people that say, okay, what's the price for your tegu? And I'm like, yeah, it's 500 euros. And they are like, yeah, I can get a wild caught, or they don't even say wild caught, but I can get one for 250 or 300 euros. Why would I pay so much for your tegu? And I'm like, go to that other seller and buy it, and then you will see why. Because the food that I get here, the good start from the egg, from the day that they are born, they are handled every day, and they get food every day, and they get good quality food. So there is not one day in their life that they have a stress. Maybe a little bit for handling at the start, but they have no real stress like the ones from a farm. And so they are often a lot tamer. They most of the time have no parasite. Of course, also in my breeding facility, they can have parasite, but the parasites that they get are not that bad. And also it's a minimal risk. The whole start of their life is much better from a captive bred. And yeah, it's expensive, more expensive also. It takes all my free time and all. I'm 7 days a week I'm here. So that's also why they are more expensive. And yeah, what I already said, it takes a lot of time to take care of the tegus, a lot more than my monitor lizards. The enclosures are very expensive. The heat is very expensive. It's way more expensive than a facility in Argentina that can keep them all outside, and they don't give a shit about how the animals are treated. It's a product for them. And here there's a lot more love, but it also takes a lot of time. So that's my explanation for why my animals are a little bit more expensive than a wild caught or an import.
I mean, it's something like you can understand. It's like it's the same for every, like if you take an import from whatever species you want, and the same species captive bred, the exact same animal, the price of the captive bred will be higher because of the whole time and everything that's put in there. Of course.
And if you calculate it with the time that you take and the food that you put in there, it's more expensive. It's and if you don't ask the prices that the higher prices, then there's no way that you can keep doing it.
Of course.
especially when you are a business. If you are a hobbyist, then it's a little bit more easy. But I'm also like, when an animal is more expensive, it sounds really stupid, but people take better care of animals that are expensive, because when an animal gets sick that is very cheap, then they can buy a new one for the price that they can go to a vet. It shouldn't be like this, but it is. That's just how it works. And the more expensive the animal is, I really notice that people take much better care, and they also think better about buying the animal. People that come to me, they have thought about it, they already have found that there are cheaper tegus, but they just want the quality, and also they know that when something goes wrong, that they can come back to me. Most sellers of the wild caughts, they are more like, that's the risk. And not all of course. There are also good people that sell those animals, but a lot, I hear it a lot, that people buy a tegu, it dies, and then they come to me like, I want a new tegu, but this happened to me. So you hear it a lot. Of
course, that's.
But I can talk hours about tegus.
I mean, in the other episode, with Jim, we were talking about making a podcast. So maybe we can make a full episode of tegus.
I'm not sure if everyone likes it, but I'm like that kid that can only talk about one thing only, and that's tegus.
That's what I like to hear. I mean, whatever the passion, whatever the hobby is, reptiles or not, I just like to hear people, even though there is stuff that I'm not passionate about. Just hearing the person that's passionate about it is enough to make like.
It's really nice to listen to people that have a passion. That's just really fun. I really love people that have some passion for something.
That's the stuff.
So especially when it's animals. So I have one more enclosure here. It's a caiman lizard enclosure. I have two caiman lizards. One is Hugo, my all-time favorite animal. He's sleeping there now. And the female, that's his girl, she's 12 years old. And the Hugo is 19 years old. Let me take a look if I can get him out of the enclosure. He has now some liver problems for some years now. So he's getting a little bit skinny. He has no muscles anymore. In the past, he was like very big, very, very big body and very strong. But now you really see that he's getting older. And he's shedding, but he has a very nice blue skin under this. He's very, very nice. And normally the caiman lizards are all like green with an orange-red head, but he is really bluish. And I never found out why he is blue compared to the others. Maybe it's a color morph. I've tried to breed him, but sadly I had one female that was pregnant, but then I split up with my ex, so I never know if the eggs hatched. So, and later on I got him back, so it took some years before I got him back. And then he was already very old, and he had the liver problems, so I don't think he will breed anymore. He's way too old. I have him for 14 years, and he was already adult size, and they take like 4 or 5 years to get adult size. So that's how I base, I know that he's around 19 years old and maybe a little bit older, but at least 19 years old. Well,
Also some nice animals that you don't see a lot.
Yeah, and they normally don't get that old, because the literature says that they can get like 10 to 12 years old. And he's at least 19 years old. So he's way past expiration dates. So, but you can see he's a little bit more skinny. He has no muscles anymore. It's not because I do not give him food, but he's just...
It's like an old man.
He's an old man. He can eat as much as he wants, but he doesn't gain weight, so...
Yeah, and having, like, as you said, like most of them, you see them green.
Yeah.
Here is blue.
Yeah,
It's
the
actually
female
blue.
is green with
Yeah.
with an orange head, like most caiman lizards are.
Yeah.
She's also a little bit in shed, so she's not most beautiful.
And yeah, and so these are, I heard a lot and I don't know the answer of that, but they are from the same family as tegus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Teidae family, so they are all tegus. Yeah, in Dutch we say caiman tegu, so
yeah.
caiman tegu,
Yeah.
but in English it's caiman lizards. But yeah, they are like the head is tegu, but the tail is caiman-like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're it's not a crossbreed or something. That's
of course.
impossible. But yeah, you know probably, but
Yeah.
not everyone knows. I sometimes have the question: oh, is it a crossbreed? No, it's not a crossbreed. That's impossible. But yeah, they are tegus.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are from the tegu family. And there are a lot of more tegus in the tegu family. It's not only the red and the black and white and the blue tegu. There are also golden tegus, amaifa. You know the amaifa? Yeah. They also have, the males have a bigger jaws, and they are smaller lizards. And there are many more tegu species, but a lot of people don't know about it.
Yeah. I mean, most people know about these.
Yeah, and this is also like a really
these.
tegu. It's like a red tegu, a blue tegu, or
Yeah.
black and white tegu. So that's more easy. But yeah, a caiman lizard is also a tegu.
Yeah, and it's a little less known
Yeah.
than these ones, and yeah.
Yeah, and also caiman lizards are very difficult to keep. You need a big space, but you also need a lot of water. But the water also needs to be clean, so you have you need a good filter. The water needs to be heated. A lot of things that can go wrong while taking care of the animals, and they are also very sensitive for bacterial infections, especially one type that is flesh-eating bacteria, and they eat holes in the tails. And when you see that, you have to give them flagyl. It's a type of antibiotics that also helps against parasites. And this antibiotics also, I've noticed by accident that it helps for this bacterial infection. So, and it's something that not many people know. A lot of people start giving antibiotics and then it goes away, and then when they stop giving antibiotics, it comes back. So that's something to think about. If you see those holes in the tail, that's some kind of bacteria that's really bad with flagyl. It doesn't like flagyl. So that's always one tip that I give to people. Because that is something that I also lost a lot of caiman lizards in the past. And I keep trying antibiotics, and nothing worked. And then I found out by accident, by treating parasites on the caiman lizards, that this also works for this bacterial infection that eats the skin.
Okay, that's really interesting tour.
Yeah, I can talk more hours, but yeah, I think we have to stop.
Yeah, we will be like almost, we will be at more than 2 hours video.
Yeah, maybe cut a little bit.
I mean, I think we will be at like a 2 hours video in the end, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. Nice.
But I mean, lots of interesting things, so why cut it?
Yeah,
that's my stuff.
Of course, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
So, we're gonna wrap up this video. Let's go. So guys, that was it for the video, you know. Ranska had to do a couple stuff with the babies, and I'm gonna end up in the front of the CROC monitor cage because that was, I mean, that's my dream lizard, so I'm gonna stay like that. And the stuff is, I hope you enjoyed that video because it is a very long video. If you're still here watching this conclusion, then you learned it all. So I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. Don't forget to support your SARC. Don't forget to join Brookies Inside the Pets group. Don't forget ROK Responsible Reptile Keeping. And I hope to see you on the next one. Let's go.